Hey, Harrison, how you doing?
Hello, hello. Well, thanks.
Good. Without further ado, let's bring on tonight's special guests. From Grant's Rock Warehouse, we have Mr. Grant Arthur in the house tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me. Nice to be here. Harrison, nice to meet you. I've seen Harrison somewhere else before, but I don't know where.
He's the Australian madman, always lurking. Always lurking.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere, except, especially Australia, though.
Well, that helps.
From the Northern Hemisphere, we have, from Visions and Sound, Mr. Robert Daniels. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing just fine. How you doing, Grant? How you doing, Mike?
Nice
How you doing, Harrison?
Nice.
Rob is the host of a show on local radio station CKWR called Visions and Sound. He'll be going live tonight at midnight with his own show.
Yep.
Nice. Excellent.
And finally, we have, as far as I know, this guy is Eddie Trunk's newest sidekick, Mr. Brian Richards.
How you doing, guys?
Brian, how are you? Nice to see you.
Good. Grant, Rob, good to meet you guys. Harrison, good to see you again for the second time.
Yep.
Sony has no sound. Hopefully everybody else out there can hear us. I hope. Please drop a comment.
I can hear everybody fine as far as the hosts and stuff. So
as long as you guys can hear me, then we can have a conversation. So, Brian, where are you from again? Just to refresh our memories here.
Central Minnesota.
Central Minnesota.
So just south of your Canadian border.
Very cold. Very cold. Actually,
unlike all the rest of you guys, I don't have like a cool or famous podcast or blog or anything. I'm just a listener who happened to discover Mike's blog one day and started reading it because it seemed interesting. So,
well, I don't know, man. You seem to be on the Eddie Trunk show quite frequently, from what I can tell.
That
sounds like stardom to me.
I
make a sneak appearance once in a while when something's relevant. When he lets me on.
That's pretty cool. Oh, Sony's got sound. Okay, so we are up and running. So, guys, as you may or may not know, we like to start the show each week with a little segment called Ask Harrison. So we have two questions for Harrison this week, both Christmas related. And one is actually a repeat from last week since Harrison dodged the question. But, he dodged it for good reason. So here we go with question number one.
Ho, Harrison, how's it going? It was literally the night before Christmas, and all through the Erickson house, not a creature was stirring, except for T-Bone and his trusty glass of scotch. And there's something I've always been meaning to ask you. Do you have a favorite Christmas movie? Mine is Die Hard. It's Christmas Eve. I'm literally watching it as we speak. But what is yours? And if you don't have a favorite Christmas movie, do you have a favorite Christmas tradition? Can you tell us something unique about Christmas in Australia that maybe we wouldn't know in North America? There's got to be something. I mean, you're celebrating it in the summer instead of the winter. There's got to be something unique about Christmas in Australia. So either a favorite Christmas movie or a favorite Christmas tradition, or both, if you're feeling really generous. I mean, 'tis the season. Anyway, just some of those things I've always wanted to know. As always, good seeing you. Take care, and happy holidays.
Did you notice that there was a subtle hint there that T-Bone's opinion is that Die Hard is indeed a Christmas movie?
You mean it's not?
Yes.
So Harrison, what
I
do
have
you do?
answers to both of those questions. I guess I'll start with the Christmas movie one. I don't really subscribe to the idea of Christmas movies, that you watch Christmas movies at Christmas. Some of the movies I've watched at Christmas have been like the Tintin movie, and just recently this Christmas Eve we watched The Fellowship of the Ring. But my favorite movie that has a Christmas setting would be Batman Returns.
There you
go. There you go.
Very good. Okay.
And as for a Christmas tradition in Australia of my own, because it is summer, the Christmas tradition that I like to, what's the verb to tradition? Like to uphold?
To uphold, yeah.
To uphold is that you take the shirt that you're going to wear at the family Christmas gathering with you in the car, but you don't wear it. You wear just a different shirt. And then when you get there, you change shirts because your back will be covered in sweat.
That's funny.
Well, there you go.
And we got major kudos for you on Batman Returns. We got Dave Lismy from the Four Horsemen wanting to join us tonight. Well, why don't we let these guys go around? We got to go around and talk to each of these guys. Maybe we'll bring in the superstar after that. But Harrison, your second question is a repeat from last week. And it is this.
Hi, Harrison. Merry Christmas. I was just curious, are you looking forward to a specific Christmas present this year? And if so, is it an album or is it a new toy? Anyways, I just wanted to thank you for all the Lego that you have created for me and wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Friday night, we're off to the races. Come and see familiar faces. Uncle Meat, Rob Daniels, Jon Snow. Gibby's here, it's the place to go.
Very nice work on that, by the way, Harrison. Harrison is our resident Lego artist.
Yeah,
So now you can answer this question. What
when you zoom in, I can see all the imperfections. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to fix that.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. Trust me. But now you can answer the question. Tell us what it was.
Well, I like to think that I look forward to every Christmas present, and you'll get to see the Christmas presents later. But the item itself that arrived just before Christmas, the day before, is. Let me see if I can get it all in frame. That is the Lego Black Pearl.
Huh. Now, the Black Pearl, is that Pirates of the Caribbean, or is that something else? It is, okay.
Although I pronounce it Caribbean, but
okay.
if we're going the pronunciation game.
Well, that is always a fun game to play with you Australians.
Yeah.
That is
so you just built that?
I built that Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve you put that together?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Oh my god.
I wanted to wait until Boxing Day, but I couldn't.
You didn't even savor that at all.
Harrison, is that a custom deal or was that a kit?
No, that's an official one.
But that's pretty big. That's not a
Yeah.
cheap Lego.
No,
No, yeah, it wasn't cheap.
I was back in the late 70s building my official Lego Lunar Lander kit. I never could have imagined doing something like that.
No kidding, eh? It's changed so much since we.
The only thing I could do when I was a kid was like build a house.
Right?
That's all we had.
We had bricks, like literally, they were rectangular bricks.
They were bricks. That's it.
Yeah. There's a lot of specialty pieces nowadays, and this is getting off topic a little, but if you know Mega Bloks, like mine, they always go for more realistic sculpting on their bricks. They have Pirates of the Caribbean ships as well, and I have their Flying Dutchman, and it's more than twice as long as this one.
Wow.
And it's much taller. I can't get that in all in shot. But yeah, that is massive.
My daughter and her boyfriend built the Home Alone house.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that.
And there's another one. It's a Fender Stratocaster with a Fender amp. They built that, and there's something else they built. I can't.
They've really started getting into the adult market lately with a lot of these things.
You know, I was going to wait my turn. I was going to let Grant go next, but this is as good a time as any to show you this that I got for Christmas. The Lego Jazz Quartet. Isn't that a beauty? Look at that. Look at the drum kit.
Oh, well, there, it's pretty nice.
You've got each musician there. You've got the bass, the trumpet, and the piano player. She's got golden earrings and everything.
You know, from a distance, Mike, that logo, Jazz Quartet on the front looks like the heavy metal band Las Rockets logo or something.
I see where
you're not looking at it straight. Like when you first held it up and it was kind of crooked, I was like, what does that say? Las Rocket?
I see where you could get that. Yes.
I'm a little bit, Mike, I'm a little bit disappointed you haven't started that yet. Because Harrison builds his in one day. I figured you'd have it all done by now.
Fair. I like to savor things a little bit more than my buddy Harrison.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I might save that for summer, in fact. I might build it on the front porch in the summertime. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. Mega Bloks are apparently cheaper.
They are, yes.
Probably.
All right. I am going to give Grant your turn back now that I have hijacked it.
I didn't know there was a,
Usually we start with Harrison, we go clockwise
Okay.
and show off whatever I know you have some things to show off. We've just been discussing certain things.
Certain things. Well, you haven't gotten to Kiss Destroyer yet.
I mean, I can throw my Kiss Destroyer up. I got Kiss Destroyer.
All
for
right, let's
Christmas.
talk about Destroyer.
Okay. So I got Destroyer for Christmas. Brian, you will appreciate this, but I am trying to acquire all the Kiss albums on vinyl between 74 and 87, because that's kind of like my era of Kiss.
Right. Yeah,
and
that's
so my lovely wife got me Destroyer on 180 gram vinyl. And I got to say, the 180 gram vinyl sounded good. It sounded really clean. I was really happy with my first spin when I gave this a play on Christmas Day, I think it was.
But we
I
did
was
have
actually listening to the 180 gram vinyl of Revenge this morning, and yeah, those 180 gram vinyl releases, the ones I have from Kiss, they did a good job with them. I mean, they all sound really good, and vinyl gets tricky. Again, Mike, we had this discussion a couple hours ago, just not offline, online, but on Facebook about vinyl mastering and CDs, and that vinyl can vary so much depending on how well it's mastered, if it was well cared for, or I hate this word, but well curated or whatnot, or if the mastering was really careless and they just threw it out there just to make a couple bucks and they didn't care about how it sounded. It can sound really crappy. I think they really did a good job with those Kiss ones, though, and so I'm sure that Destroyer one sounds great. I haven't heard the remastering one, the 180 gram myself, but I'm sure if it's as good as the other ones.
But Brian, that can go for CDs too. Choose your mastering engineer wisely is what I always say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But since we were talking about it, Mike wasn't sure if the original Destroyer was a gatefold.
Right.
And I want to reassure him that it was not. But this is an original first pressing that I bought at half price books for what year? Like in
$4.99.
$4.99 in 2001. But here's the insert. It's a standard government issue. But the vinyl is the classic, blue Casablanca label.
Beautiful.
And the pressing is by Sterling, and it's a 1A and a 1B. So this is an original pressing.
There you go. I don't know why I had that memory of a gatefold. I don't know. It's one of those things. I think we were discussing this as well on Facebook earlier, but I have a memory of a next door neighbor who had a reissue, and it was like called the Classic Collection or the Connoisseur Collection or something. It had some kind of collection, and
it wasn't the originals. What? No,
it was not. It was not. And I believe 2 albums were reissued in this collection. They were Destroyer and Dynasty, and my neighbor had Destroyer in this collection, and I think it was him who assured me that if he had an original copy, it came in a gatefold. I think that was.
Are you sure it wasn't a bootleg? Maybe it was a bootleg release or something.
Could have been a boot.
I wish I had more time to look it up, but it was not a bootleg. It was a budget priced reissue that they did for Destroyer and Dynasty, and I'm guessing in Canada only, because
it must have
you
been
guys haven't heard of it.
I've never heard of it. So
that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna have to do some research after the show and figure this out.
You need to get your team on that. See what they come back with.
That's the team right there.
Oh, well, there you go.
Did you want to
Dale Sherman? You would know.
What's that? Dale Sherman.
Sherman.
Actually, yes.
Dale Sherman.
That's a good. Thank you. I will ask Dale Sherman.
And I have thrown this out since I'm up. I did get this Cheap Trick Live at the Whiskey 1977 box set on Real God Records.
Oh, nice.
It's got all 4 shows from the Whiskey in 1977.
Is that an official release? Or?
Yeah, it's on Real Gone. There's only 2,000 copies pressed.
Oh, wow.
So if you can still get one and you like Cheap Trick, I'd recommend it.
Have you played it yet?
I've played disc 1. It's got a lot. It's great. Rodney Bingenheimer's doing the intros. It was awesome. It's the whole damn thing. No edits or anything. It sounds great.
What about the set list from Night to Night?
Well, they changed it up. I mean, you've got Loser on here. You've got Oh Boy, some of the tracks that, weren't on any records. You know what I mean? They might have came out later, but, the vocal version of Oh Boy got released way later.
I know all my Cheap Trick buddies have been talking about this thing, and they've been very excited.
Highly recommend it.
My pal Robert Lawson, who wrote which book was it? I can't even remember. Still Competition. Book? Yeah, Still Competition. He wrote that book, and he was very excited about this particular release.
Well, it's been rumored. We knew the shows were all recorded, and they've just released snippets. They had that Record Store Day release where there was a 2-album set, but about the time they put it out,
the whole kit and caboodle for once and for all.
Now, if we could get like a Cheap Trick rarities set or something, because there's a whole bunch of unreleased stuff that's never come out. I mean,
even some of the release stuff is hard to find.
Right.
Some of it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Let's get all this stuff out.
Get it going.
Get it going.
I'll talk to my pal Robert Lawson and see if he can tap
Robert
Cheap Trick on the shoulder. Did you want to do any more on this round, or do you want to flip it over to Rob? Because we're going to go around and around and around.
Nah, I got plenty of stuff. Let's keep it moving.
Okay, Mr. Daniels.
All right. Well,
what do you have to show us?
This was something that I am currently cat upon, so it's gonna be a little bit difficult.
He's a bit limited at the moment.
Oh, he's just left.
Gimli the cat is the true star of the show, incidentally.
So this came to me a couple of months ago. Now, Mike's probably familiar with this, but I put it away, thinking that I'll put it under the tree for Christmas. It ended up disappearing for a long time. I actually found it a few days before Christmas, and this is the Seagram Synth Ensemble.
Oh yeah,
the No Moving Air on vinyl, and this is I have heard part of this album on with various files, but I'm really glad that this showed up all those months ago.
That is a great album, incidentally, if you're into synth music.
Oh yeah, I mean these guys have got the Giorgio Moroder and Vangelis and those guys definitely in there in mind when they create this stuff. I was really happy to get a hold of this.
Awesome. I'm happy to see you enjoying it.
Oh yeah, I haven't opened it yet, but I've got my turntable all set to go, so I'm looking forward to diving in.
Awesome. Incidentally, we interviewed them together way back in July, and they were 3 of the nicest guys we ever could have talked to.
Precisely.
Well, thanks, Rob. Do you have anything else you want to show off in this turn, or are we just going to go around?
On this turn, I don't think so.
Okay.
We can move on.
Over to Mr. Richards as the Eddie Trunk's newest sidekick.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
We're just going to keep milking that. We're going to keep milking it.
No problem.
Brian, quick question. When were you last on Eddie Trunk's show?
I call in just as a caller. When he says I'm on Eddie Trunk's show, it's not like as a guest or anything.
Hey, you're a superstar. I get it.
I'm the hype man. That's all I do. I do the hype.
I'm trying to think of the last time I was on. I called in, I think, a couple weeks ago for just like kind of like a year end thing or something or the other. But I like to call in a lot when he has guests on, because every once in a while the guests will take calls from listeners. So through him, I've been able to talk to Geezer Butler, Lita Ford, Stephen Piercy, just to name a few. And I mean, that's even at 53 now, since I just had my birthday the other day, that's as big of a thrill for me as it was when I was a teenager, getting on the phone and talking to a rock star on the radio. And so it's like, whenever I get a chance to do that, I'm always calling and trying to think of some stupid question to ask him.
Awesome.
Or something. So, and that's usually when it is when he has a guest on and they're taking calls. So, but sometimes I call in if he's got a topic about best concert of the year or something like that. But, anyway, speaking of milking the topic, I'm going to milk the one here. Since you guys were talking Kiss a moment ago, Mike, I know you saw this earlier when I posted it on Facebook, but a friend of mine, Sean, owns some sports memorabilia collectibles stores here in Minnesota, and Sean, just by chance, is also a huge Kiss fan. And so he likes to bring in occasionally members of KISS for signings and stuff like that. Like he did a Q&A, a live Q&A with an audience with Ace Frehley one time, and he also did Tommy Thayer, and he did Bruce Kulick one other time, and he's developed a little bit of a working relationship with Bruce. And Bruce recently put out this bobblehead on his website. It's a limited edition type deal, and the reason it's really cool to me, well, number one, I got it for Christmas, but the reason I got it for Christmas was I put it on my wish list for my wife because I actually consulted on this in a way. Sean, the store owner, is a mutual friend of both Bruce's and mine. And knowing that I was a big KISS fan, he asked a few of us that he knew last year if we would offer our opinions on this bobblehead when it was in the early design stages, and just tell if we could tell him what we liked or didn't like about it, like about the hair or the outfit and whatnot. So I consulted on this in a way, and I finally got my hands on a copy of it. Now, this is just the box. The box functions as what they call, I guess, a diorama.
Yeah.
In other words, you can cut the box up, you can cut this picture of Bruce off, and you'll notice that the rest of the box is Marshall speaker cabinets with a Kulick logo on it instead of Marshall. And you can fold the box to do that into a way so that those speaker grills surrounded the bobblehead. And yes, I do have the bobblehead out of the box here as I reach for it very carefully.
Oh, that's nice.
This is what the bobblehead looks like. And I did get the autographed option, so it's hard to see.
Oh, nice. I see it. Yes.
Autographed on the base by Bruce there. But yeah, I did, in a way, consult on the design of this. So
that is cool, man.
I thought they did a good job with it. I can't take more credit for it than I did, because I didn't get paid for it or anything. But Sean just asked our opinions, and so I gave him my opinion on it, and that's the results. It's a pretty cool little item.
That is really cool, Brian. And the signature is just the icing on top of the cake.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's cool.
I was like Bruce. Bruce is, to me, he's one of the most accessible members of KISS. If any of you have ever had a chance to meet him in person, he's always very willing to answer questions and things like that, which I can't say that all the other members who will remain nameless have always been when we've met him in person.
Well, I did meet Bruce Kulick back at the NAMM show in like 1986.
Wow.
Right.
And he's quite tall.
Yep.
But he wasn't very, I don't know. He was busy. I think he was at the DiMarzio booth. I can't remember what booth he was at. One of the guitar booths, but he was kind of busy, and but I did meet him, yeah.
That is cool.
His nickname, yes, he was tall. His nickname used to be Spruce Kulick.
I could see that because he really was tall.
Gene. That sounds like something Gene would have made up.
And at the same one, I met John Entwistle too, and I was surprised how tall John Entwistle was.
I was surprised when I met Tom Green that he's quite tall, but I haven't met a lot of people. I have something special I'm going to unpackage before I do my big one. I'll do my big one on the next turn, but Grant will appreciate this one. Grant's responsible. Grant is responsible.
I know what this is.
Yeah. I wouldn't own this if it wasn't for Grant. There it is. The Darkness, streaming of a White Christmas that you showed me on your show about roughly a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beginning of December, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the double live album that Grant had that I didn't, but now I do. Now I do. And the cool thing here is that it's a double live, whereas their retail live album is only a single. And I can't wait to give this a listen.
It sounds great. I'll give you that.
There we go. Streaming of a White Christmas. It can still be had. I got this from a place called don't ask me.
Now I can't even remember where it was because I had to go back in my email.
Merch Bar.
Yeah.
So if you want your very own copy of Darkness, Streaming of a White Christmas, a CD at least they still had in stock. I don't know about vinyl.
I think the vinyl's I think it's out of print.
I think you're right. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to do. And I will be back with Grant in February?
I believe it's February, and we're going to do Hot Leg and now I'm on a brain crisis.
We're
Dan
gonna
Hawkins
do,
band, Stone Gods.
Stone Gods, yes, Hot Leg and Stone Gods. We're going to do a sequel to the Darkness show in the.
We had such a good time with the Darkness show. We might as well touch on those albums more. I mean, we briefly touched on them, but I think they're well worth the exploration because I love both of those records. So,
especially if you are a Darkness fan, I mean,
yes,
there's only so much darkness, especially back then. There was only so much darkness to go around, and we just had a little bit more.
We have more. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to save my big unboxing for next round. Harrison, we are back to you.
All right. I did indeed get some albums for Christmas. This first one, Jon Snow put me on to a while back, and I only just now got around to getting it. Ignore the shoddy attempt to remove the stickers, please.
I own this one.
Is that Corey Taylor?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that.
I own this on Japanese import with the acoustic bonus track.
Which one's the acoustic?
What's the single called again?
I'm not sure. There are quite a few videos made for this one.
There was a
CMFT Must Be Stopped.
No, it was more of
yeah,
anthemic melodic rocker. Track 4. Try track 4. What is track 4?
Mine Lux.
No. It's around there. Anyway, there's an acoustic bonus track version.
All right.
That's not a bad album.
Yeah, no, it's not. There's only a few songs which I don't care for, but on a whole, yeah, quite good.
CM motherfucking T is the one that I don't particularly care for. I'm not 12 anymore. You know, it doesn't do anything for me to just like say motherfucking in the middle of a song.
Yeah, it took me longer than I'd like to admit to work out what that CMFT stood for.
Oh, I see.
Let me think about it.
Yeah. And the other one I got, one of my favorite cover art of all time.
Oh, Fleetwood Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Very nice.
You're a fan of that record?
Yeah, probably. I like their live stuff the most, but I do like this album quite a lot.
Mm-hmm. That is one of the few Fleetwood Mac albums that I've never, ever picked up.
It was kind of
I remember when it was out. It was a big record when it was out. You know.
Yeah. But
it was
like
their
kind
second
of a weird
best
time
seller.
though. Like it was like this resurgence of Fleetwood Mac, but it wasn't like a huge resurgence. You know? It was like
right. It was from 1987, which is actually later than I initially thought. But yeah, it was their second best-selling album.
Oh, I did not know that.
It was a pretty big deal back then. I remember that in the 80s when I was a teenager, and it was considered the big Fleetwood Mac comeback at the time.
It was, eh?
Yeah.
Did they? Is that right before they had all the lineup changes happen?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, that was the
They
last
had
album
one on
with
that
the
album,
classic
didn't they?
lineup.
Well, I think that was the last Lindsey Buckingham album before they got the updated lineup, and then of course it came back. But
for the dance, which I have,
the
dance, yes, we showed
that was a
off
great
few
album.
weeks ago.
Yeah, that's a great live album.
Yeah,
They did
And
an
then I
album in the early 90s that I don't remember the title of that didn't have Stevie Nicks on it. It had like
Time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Becca Brown.
Time. Yeah.
And they had another album around that time as well.
Around that time.
Yeah.
I will tell you guys from my experience working in a used record store, there's a lot of times when the only Fleetwood Mac you have left in stock is Time. And when people come in and ask you if you have any Fleetwood Mac, that is not the album they're looking for. But it's true. Like when you're working in a used record store, you don't have control over what comes and goes. And a lot of the time you are left with Time by Fleetwood Mac or the one Guess Who album that has only the drummer, all that stuff, the stuff that nobody wants.
Or Calling All Stations by Genesis.
Calling a perfect example. That is exactly one of the albums I'm talking about. The second Spin Doctors album, but not the first. And it's like you're sitting on these things, and to quote the Spin Doctors, it's like having a pocket full of kryptonite.
Well,
you just cannot get rid of these albums.
Any of those Spin Doctor records, those are dollar CDs.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. But
still,
the second album, we'd have to pay people to take it away. Like that's. I think stores over-ordered it,
There's a record store in town that told me that they cannot keep Fleetwood Mac Rumors in stock. And due to the supply chain issues and getting things pressed, he can have things ordered, from the distributor, and he'll have to wait for rumors. When he gets a shipment, they all sell out. He can't keep even used copies of rumors in stock.
Wow.
All the kids want it, believe it or not.
And that started not that long ago with that one viral video on TikTok, which I've honestly I've never seen. I just know it exists.
I mean, I've got plenty of copies of rumors that I bought back in the day for $1. I should just sell it to him, make some money.
Just
well, rumors. Think about this, gentlemen. Back in the 90s, rumors was $1 record in the bins. Now it's probably a $10 used record. How times have changed.
Yeah. Of course, all records are so much more expensive now than they were.
It's all.
Oh, I have. You want to hear a classic example of that? I picked up about 21 years ago. So this was about 2001. I picked up at a local guy's local backdoor vinyl garage sale he was having. Picked up a vinyl copy in decent shape of Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind for, get this, I'm not kidding, 75 cents.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I bought
that album in the condition it's in now is a $20 record every day of the week.
Brian, I used to go through the cheapy bins and find Mobile Fidelity pressings like Moody Blues, Days of Future Bass, 50 cents.
Oh, yeah.
Al Stewart, Mo-Fi for 50 cents.
Yep.
That's got to be, some of that has to be people who are selling the stuff and not knowing what they have.
Back in the 90s, and they didn't care about
it. And he also didn't really have access to the information.
Here's something for you. I was on Rachel's Ghost today, and we were we were talking a little bit of U2. Here's a record. You guys are familiar with this?
Yeah.
Look at the price that I bought this for.
$2.50.
I bought this for $2.50 in 2001.
Wow.
This is a first pressing. It's got the naked dude. It's got naked, what's his name on it?
Yep.
Now they told me on Rachel's Ghost, this is like a $35 or $40 record now.
Wow.
Yep. I believe it. 2000, 2001, vinyl was just dead. It was as dead as it could get.
That's when I bought all my shit. I've got a shitload. I bought it all in the 90s and early 2000s. I probably didn't pay more than $5 a record.
Yeah, same with me. I never really stopped buying vinyl back then because I bought it as a kid.
Right.
And I kept buying it then, even when it was cheap and everybody else was getting rid of it. And I mean, it was dead from like 95 to early 2000s, just as dead as could be. That's why I tell people, buy your collectible CDs now, because they are where vinyl was.
There you go, Brian. That's what I keep telling people. It's not so much about the medium. It's about the mastering. You can have a great mastered CD that sounds just as good as vinyl, but of course we're in the whole vinyl is cool thing, which is fine. I'm all about that. But kids, you need to buy low, because I'll tell you, when this next generation grows up and they discover the shiny CD and think it's all special and sparkly, I'm telling you, it'll come back around.
Buy low, because that says $35 right there.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Yeah, I spent 35 Australian on Made in Japan just to put it up on my wall.
Well, that's a great record to have.
I know, yeah, and the historical value is the other.
This one's a later one.
I like to play my records. I don't have any of them up on the wall.
Well, here's one. I spent a little bit more for this, but this is an original pressing of Creatures. I paid $8 for it. But I don't know what the date was. That was probably maybe 2005 or something. But there's not that many of these floating around, believe it or not,
No, I recall that was the case back in the 80s when my buddies were all collecting Kiss, and some of them had to settle for the 85 reissue.
This is also a cutout.
There's a cutout.
Yeah, boys, this is a cutout.
We did Creatures of the Night about a month ago with Marco and Tim, and we were showing off their copies of Creatures. The one that I didn't show off, I have a glow-in-the-dark vinyl of Creatures that's still sealed. But
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's from the 90s. It was this like 1995.
This is dead mint.
That is beautiful.
Original pressing.
It looks pristine.
It is. Well, all the stuff that I would buy back in the day, if it had any, I mean, I could accept that there's some ring wear, but the
Sure.
record had to be absolutely mint, or I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, fair.
That's a good looking one. Yeah, if I'd known we were going to talk creatures tonight, I would have brought my copy in here from the other room. I've got one. I don't think it's particularly valuable or necessarily or anything, but I've got a copy of Creatures that has the rare Casablanca label on it.
Wow, that would be
like
cool to have.
I'd like to see that.
You know,
is it the newer cover or what? Or is it this cover?
No, it's the old cover. It's the makeup cover.
Okay.
But it was issued on Casablanca at that time.
Yeah, well, they've apparently they were using up the Casablanca labels.
It must have been an early one then.
I would think so. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, if you want to go get it,
sure.
Be my
I'll
guest.
step away for a moment. Hold on.
Here's another one. I got this at Half Price Books, 2 record set.
Now, Grant, here's something about that.
How much do you think I bought this for?
Okay, I would say that would go for like $35 these days. Oh, $6. Is that what that says?
$6. Yeah.
Now, can you just hold that up one more time?
Yeah.
Here's something that always bugged me about it is that the actual Kiss Unplugged cover is just inset into that border.
Yeah, it's really bad.
I don't understand why they did that.
But this is also absolutely, it's beautiful.
And of course, the vinyl had the bonus track, Got to Choose.
Yep.
Yep, that is a beauty.
Like a dog hair on it, but that's different. But the fact that I saw it for $6, boys.
That's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
That is an absolute no-brainer. Like you could probably find that for $35 right now.
Now I keep thinking maybe I should unload all this stuff. Maybe it's time for me to sell.
That's a tough question. I mean, we could be hitting peak vinyl right now. It might be time.
Here we go. Just to
share.
share.
There it is.
Oh.
Look at that. Look at that.
$5.
That's one I definitely want on vinyl, and I do not have on vinyl. For the
That's a
cover.
good cover.
Just for the cover.
Let's see what the date was on this.
I did
Was
the cover for you, mate.
All right, so this was 1997. We're talking Central Ohio. So this was going for $5 in 97, which was a bit more than the rest of the Kiss catalog, probably because there's not that many around, you know. But, you know, it's beautiful.
You know, like I was saying earlier, I'm trying to complete my Kiss vinyl collection from 74 to 87. And what you have right there is exactly what I would have wanted, you know, a nice, good looking used copy for a great price. And that's the kind of thing I would have been able to get with ease back in the 90s. And it's just,
well, they were a plenty.
Yes.
The whole market's changed. You know?
It's ridiculous. But, you know, that's a whole, we could talk about vinyl prices to the end of the earth.
Well, that's why I don't buy it anymore, because I bought all of it. When the whole vinyl resurgence started, I was buying it. I was in.
Me too.
But then as CD prices kept going down, I couldn't justify it because when it comes down to it, I'm all about the music, not the medium. I would rather spend my money on a CD where I could get 8 CDs for the price of an LP.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, Rob, why don't you go next?
Brian's got it.
Brian's got it. Why don't you go, Rob, while we wait for Brian to settle in?
Well, I'll be really quick with mine.
Sure.
This is an album, or
that looks like
it's nothing like any of the Kiss albums that you guys had. This was just something that I'd been looking forward to. But there is something that I do want to mention briefly. Is today I don't know if any of you are aware of Red Letter Media.
Oh yes, I love
Red Letter Media. Yes.
And they just did a video today about the values and how you value something. And they had an old sealed VHS copy of a film called Nuki or whatever it was. In any case, so they had it off. They sent it off to be assessed, and it came back was like an 8 or something like that. And so now they put it on auction. So I'm curious as to, I mean, Grant, you seem to be the one that talks about the. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're the one that seems to talk about the you liking the music as opposed to just the medium.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the thing I found very interesting is that, you know, people are now going back to VHS tapes and such like that. I mean, you're right about saying the whole thing is about it being like, I mean, the thing is that these VHS tapes are sealed, so nobody knows what's on them. I mean, obviously the movie is on them, but how good it is, if it's been next to a magnet for
true, or it's been in someone's attic. But we do know, like, VHS tape is not like, reel-to-reel tape that they used in recording studios.
Yeah.
It's like cassette tape. It doesn't fall apart. If it's stored correctly, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows what you're going to find if it's sealed? Who knows?
Right.
And there's nothing stopping somebody with a resealing machine as well, which we encountered a lot in the record store days.
If you watch their latest video, they talk about that.
Okay.
The fact that they were able to shrink wrap one a certain, and they sent it to the assessor, and the assessor sent it back, said, "What's this?" It looks like it's been resealed.
Yeah, I bet.
Kind of thing. In any case, one more thing, guys. Everybody here is a collector of something. Have you had your collection assessed?
Never. I
No.
should.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I'm curious, because I've actually been thinking about getting some insurance, adding a bit of insurance to the collection. I collect soundtracks, just so you know. And so I have, at this point, I estimate about 5,000 of movie, TV, video game soundtracks.
Nice.
And so I've been kind of been thinking, have you had, so as a collector, do you think it's worth getting it assessed, and then just kind of?
Well, I think, can't you just put it in Discogs, and it kind of gives you an assessment if you can get it all entered.
True. Yeah, could do that.
That's good advice.
But that's a lot of work. But someone's got to enter it somewhere.
Yeah,
so
precisely.
You
All right.
could. I mean, if you're talking like homeowners insurance or renters insurance or something like that, for that size of collection, it might not be a bad idea, because a lot of times they'll just ask you to take a picture of something and say like what's the stated value or something like that. I mean, I've never done it, but that's what I've heard. So for that size of a collection, I mean, it might be worth your while to do, if you have that option for, like I said, that type of insurance or something.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm no expert.
I personally have never. I mean,
I've heard that.
I personally enter stuff in Discogs, but all this stuff, I mean, I'd have a lot of work to do.
I was about to say, speaking of entering stuff on Discogs, I know Mr. Tim Derling is very diligent about entering everything that he acquires onto Discogs. Like, he's very OCD about it. So after Brian shows us his copy of Creatures, we're going to go to a video by Mr. Tim Derling, who could not be here tonight, but did make a video for us. But first, we're going to look at Brian's.
Yeah, I'm anxiously awaiting.
Rob.
Just very quickly, and kind of maybe a bit of an anticlimax, but I did end up getting the Ghostbusters Afterlife soundtrack. By Rob Simonson. I love it because it pays homage to the Elmer Bernstein score from the 1984 film, and it does it in a great way. So yeah, that's something else I got this year.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, this is a regular Creatures makeup cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Looks standard.
Looks
It
similar to
does have
Grant's.
one distinguishing mark on it that I've never figured out what it means in the upper.
But I did
right.
notice something on yours. On your back cover, you've got a barcode.
Yes. Is that a sticker or?
Mine doesn't have a barcode on it.
It's a sticker.
Okay.
But up in the corner up here, you can't see it really on here, but it's got a little number. It says 501.
Okay.
And I asked somebody about that once, and they weren't sure exactly what it meant. They said it could have meant something with, I don't know, like the labeling or something or the other. But when you pull it out, and I should say,
yeah, mine doesn't have that at all. No.
When I got this about 20 years ago or so, I paid $15 for it at a record show. That you can see the sticker there still.
Yeah.
And so when you pull it out, it's got a Casablanca record sleeve, which I didn't really think much of, because I'm just like, back in the day when I got albums when I was a kid, a lot of times
I switched them up all the time by accident.
Yeah, they would get switched up. So I'm just like, okay, well, it's got a Casablanca label from another Kiss record or something. But when you pull it out, Hold on.
Yeah, put that sucker up there.
There it is. That is
I'll
the Blanco
be-
logo, Creatures of the Night.
I'll be darned.
Kiss Creatures of the Night, and in the very small print at the bottom, manufactured and marketed by Polygram Records.
Huh.
Okay, let's see what mine says. Of course, I've got the
Both sides.
original inner sleeve. I'm scared. I'm just curious what this says. Well, mine says manufactured and marketed by Polygram Records Incorporated. They must have used up those labels. That's the only
They
thing.
might have. I think there might be a listing in Dale Sherman's Black Diamond 2 about this. I'm not sure. I know I talked about it, I think, with one of my friends, and I thought they said maybe they were using up labels or something.
I bet you that's what it was.
We should ask Mr. Sherman.
Yes, we should.
All right. So, anyways, as we were saying, Mr. Tim Derling, Mr. Discogs himself, wasn't able to be here tonight, but he did submit a video. So, if you guys are curious what Tim Derling got for Christmas, I'm going to run this video. It's about 3 minutes. So, if you guys need to refresh your drinks, now's the time. If not, check out Tim's Christmas goodies.
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't make it tonight. Grab a stack of rock, but I'm doing this video in lieu of that. I hope everybody had a great Christmas and is going to have a great New Year. We had a great Christmas in spite of a little incident that happened. Those of you that know about it, and those of you who have helped, thank you very much. I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Deke. You guys are awesome. Anyway. So, what did I get? What did Santa Claus bring me for Christmas this year? Few things. First of all, the vinyl version of Sammy Hagar and the Circle, Crazy Times. Good album. Grows on me every time I listen to it. Couple of CDs. The 2-disc version of Creatures of the Night. Probably my favorite Kiss album. Some days it's Dynasty, most of the time it's this. Alice Cooper live at the AstroTurf, CD and Blu-ray, very cool. Something that you may not know what it is unless you're a musician. My kids got me this. It grew out of a joke. But I guarantee if you don't know what this is, you know the sound. Here we go. I didn't do that right. Let me hold this. No, that didn't work either. Hold up. That's not it. Okay, well, it's not. This is called a vibra-slap. It normally mounts to a drum set. And I can guarantee you've heard this sound effect countless times in songs. If you think at the beginning of Crazy Train, no, that wasn't bad. Closer to the Heart. It's like every 8 bars. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I love it. Vibra-slap. Everybody needs a vibra-slap in their life. And the only other thing I have to show you is this excellent book. I actually had the author on to talk about this, Julian Gill. Aerosmith on tour 1973 to 1985. I've just gotten through, I'm up to Toys in the Attic. Excellent book about the early days of Aerosmith. It's really interesting to hear the really bad reviews they would get, even up to Toys in the Attic. Concert reviews and album reviews, people would just write them off as Rolling Stones rip-offs. They're way better than the Stones. Anyway, that's my opinion. And, some of the early concert ads and some of the bands that they toured with. If you know Julian's books, you've probably got some Kiss books. If you're a Kiss fan, you probably got some books by Julian. Highly recommended, and I'm still working my way through that. That's my stack of rock this year for Christmas. And thanks, everybody. Have a great New Year.
So on a side note, you guys probably noticed Tim's epic bedhead in that video, which Harrison managed to copy in his Lego version of Tim. But I
didn't realize he'd have that in the video.
That's right. I did a recording for Tim's Vinyl Confessions later that same morning, and I did mine with bedhead too, just to return the favor.
But all I'm going to say is Tim has one hell of a head of hair.
No kidding,
So I'll take the bedhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad. Good
Not
stuff,
bad.
Tim.
Good stuff.
Okay, this is it, guys. This is the big one. Ah!
Oh, God, Here we go.
Here it is. This arrived yesterday, and I'm actually waiting on 2 more, which is going to be part of the rant aspect of this unboxing.
No. Unboxing.
See, Rob, the unboxing guy. we can blame various parties when it comes to packaging and box sets and liner notes and running orders. And when things happen the way they do, oh, geez, there's another box inside the box, which is Rob's least favorite thing in the world, when there's a box inside the box. Oh, God. Okay. Get the Swiss Army.
Maybe a little explanation is in order of my hatred of unboxing. I think it is the lowest form of YouTube video that you can make.
You know what, Rob?
It might be. Yeah.
I disagree. I think the lowest form is guy reacts to.
Oh, okay, yeah, I would put those on the same level. Reaction video.
Okay, so there's a major band that released a major box set earlier this year, and Grant knows who I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
And when it comes right down to it, I have to lay the blame directly at the feet of Mr. W. Axl Rose, because
I want to watch you.
Okay, because what we have here is the Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion box. Isn't that nice? You got to give them credit where that's concerned. But there's a problem. And I'm just waiting for my other Amazon parcel to arrive, because what we have here is Use Your Illusion 1, Use Your Illusion 2. Then we have 2 CDs, Live at the Ritz in New York, 1991 May, so with Izzy Stradlin on guitar. And then we have 3 CDs of Guns N' Roses Live in Vegas, 1992, with Gilby Clarke on guitar. Great, right? 2 whole concerts. But I guess for one thing, that's not what fans wanted for the Use Your Illusion box set. A lot of the comments that I read are, well, where's the demos? Where's the studio tracks? Where's the outtakes? And as far as that goes, we only get one studio bonus track, and I'm actually looking for it. I can't find it. But there's a new version of November Rain with actual strings instead of synth. And it's on one of these discs. Not sure where. But that's it in terms of like studio bonus tracks. But here's where. So I was doing some browsing on Amazon, and there's also, your lower budget 2 CD version reissues. That's standard, right? There's one for Creatures of the Night. The 2 CD reissues have completely different bonus material. It's got live stuff from the Paris concert, the 92 Paris concert, where they did Mama Kin with Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. All kinds of stuff that is not included in the box set. So like an idiot, I gave Axl Rose $30 each more for Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, the 2 CD versions, to get all the tracks. And
maybe there's a download card in there and you can get the rest of it. I don't know. Could be.
Okay.
It's probably intentionally. I'm sure he wanted you to splurge twice.
I'm more.
Well, they want you to buy all of it.
He wants me to buy all of it. I did buy all of it. And even if there was a download code, I'd still be pissed off because I want them on CD. I want the physical product of those bonus songs. So it kind of bugs me. I've been a Guns N' Roses fan for a long time. I bought the Appetite for Destruction box set when it came out. I bought, every album that they had when it came out, including the one that people often talk about as being one of the most disappointing albums of all time. And I've defended them. Chinese Democracy. I've defended them. Through thick and thin, I've defended Guns N' Roses. I've been really impressed, actually, with Axl Rose in recent years. He's been on time. He's been gracious in concert. He hasn't been as much of the dick that he was back in. You guys remember, it was just as likely that he wasn't going to show up to a concert as that he was.
I saw a concert in 1992 where they didn't go on until 11:30 at night because the band didn't show up until about 10:30 or so that night, and kept everybody waiting for 2 hours between them and Soundgarden, the opening act.
And when you say the band didn't turn up until later, I think we can read between the lines, right? We know who didn't turn up. It wasn't the band. It was W. Axl Rose. And we know that W. Axl Rose is the only member of the band officially that would have any power to sign off on something like this.
Yep.
You know, Slash isn't getting a sign off power on this.
No.
Axl is. Axl signed off on the fact that I have to buy 2 more CDs to get all the songs. And I just want to know why, Axl. Like, don't you have enough of my money? I've given you so much. I was wearing your shirt earlier today. You'll see it in a video. It's a beautiful looking set. I can't wait to get in here and listen to it. But damn it, Axl, like seriously. Like,
I'm still trying to understand what the allure of Guns N' Roses is. Because I don't get it. I wish, Michael, I wish you could explain it to me. I wish you could.
There was their bad boyness from 1987 stretched over a period of years. And those of us who were really into them at the time, I remember when Use Your Illusions came out and just wanting it to be, you know, like 1987, 88 still. And the band had already changed by that point.
Well, we did a Guns N' Roses show on the Contrarians, and I think Guns N' Roses, I think the timing for them was perfect because Aerosmith was doing all that 80, they were the bad boys. They're doing all that commercial 80s stuff. And I think that left a spot for Guns N' Roses to come right in and pick up where else Aerosmith left off.
That's exactly what happened. I was 17, 18 at that time, and I was really into both Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses and that whole scene. I mean, obviously I still like the music. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here on a Friday night doing this podcast. But yeah, I mean, I was senior in high school when those bands were in their prime, and that was the whole Guns N' Roses thing, was that these guys are real. These guys are dangerous, you know, quote unquote dangerous.
Well, let's say they didn't come out in 87. Let's say they put that album out in 83. Do you think it would have taken off like it would have in 87? What do you guys think?
That's a tough question.
It was really a response to not just Aerosmith, but like Bon Jovi and everything else. Not that there's anything wrong with Bon Jovi or Aerosmith, because there certainly isn't. They're great. All that music's great, but it's just different flavors within the genre.
Right.
And Appetite was absolutely a reaction to that stuff.
Yeah.
That's large part of the reason I was into it, was because it just seemed so, you know, raw, and yet it wasn't totally punk. I wasn't into punk, but I did like the punk edge it had, and I was into heavy metal, and it was still heavy metal enough, you know, for me to like it. It was like a combination of both those worlds.
And I come from a slightly different perspective as Brian, because while I bought Appetite back then and I liked Appetite back then, to me, Guns N' Roses were just another rock and roll band. You know, and he's right that they were the answer to the Bon Jovis and the Aerosmiths and what had been going on in that direction. But for me, it was the Illusions albums that cemented it, because when those came out, I was looking for something more. I was looking for a band that had experimentation and fearlessness, and we're using different kinds of instruments. And so there's orchestras and there's sitar and there's all kinds of different layering of guitars. And, you know, as far as the soloing goes, I think Slash really upped his game and took it to another level here. A lot of really interesting arrangements guitar wise, and really interesting arrangements vocally.
Well, we also did that show on the Contrarians about Chinese democracy, which I hosted. And I was really surprised. Everybody seemed to really think highly of Chinese democracy.
Amazon delivery guy. So here's the 2 individual releases.
There you go.
So here's what you get that's not on this. Perfect Crime live in London. There's some repeat. Bad Obsession live in Las Vegas is repeat. Right Next Door to Hell live in New York is repeat. Always on the Run with Lenny Kravitz live in Paris. Dust and Bones live in London. Attitude live in Paris. That was before that was released on Spaghetti Incident. Double Talk and Jive live in London. Don't Cry live. Okay, so that's repeat. Anything where it says live in New York is repeat. It's All Right, Black Sabbath cover, teamed up with November Rain live in Paris. Bad Apples live in Rio de Janeiro, and Wild Horses live in Paris. And then over here we get some New York. 14 Years live in London. That's a rare one because Izzy Stradlin sang it, so it was only in the set for a short while. Voodoo Child Live in Vegas, you could be mine, blah, blah, blah. Live in Paris. 2 more Live in Paris, drum solo and Slash a solo. Speak Softly Love. Oh, love theme from The Godfather. Live in Paris. Sail Away Sweet Sister, live in Paris. So fine.
Sail Away Sweet Sister, like
Sail.
Queen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Just
He
making
did
sure.
it as a vocal. He did it as like a cappella.
Okay.
It was kind of an intro. It functioned as an intro to "Sweet Child of Mine" back in the concerts on
Right.
the Vision tour.
All right, that's cool.
Only Women Bleed / Knocking on Heaven's Door, live in Rio de Janeiro. Mama Kin with Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, live in
That's
Paris.
cool right there. Yeah.
Train Kept a Rolling with Tyler and Perry in Paris. And a lot of exclusives that are not on the other set. And I find that inexcusable. They could have taken these CDs, thrown them in there, charged me $10 more. This was $300, incidentally. This was $300. So Axl got $350 out of me.
Okay, even back in the day, they split up the live.
Axel's listening to this video going, yes.
I'll say this.
Sucker born every minute.
Sorry, what's that, Brian?
That sucks for you, but I'm honestly surprised that Gene Simmons hasn't done that with like the Creatures box set. Thank God he didn't.
Don't give him any ideas, Brian.
Right? Yeah.
Don't give him any ideas.
Right?
I'm getting sick and tired of being double dipped like this. I really am.
Right.
Like it's getting to the point where you got to buy the original album when it comes out, but then there's a tour edition that comes out a year later, and then some other box set version 5 years later, and it's like, F you, all of you guys.
Yeah, welcome to the world of soundtracks as well.
Welcome to the jungle, Axl. You know what? I hope Axl
Mike
Rose...
Ladonna's right at the head of the line, ready to buy.
I am, and Axl knows it. Axl knows it. He knows there's suckers like me.
He loves you.
Well, Mike, hey, you can appreciate.
I hope he does.
You can appreciate this story. I have one thing that happened to me one time similar to that in a way when Kiss put out the Kissology DVD sets.
Oh,
you'll remember that they included
the bonus
DVDs of different concerts that you could only get them at like some you could get at like Best Buy, some you could get at Walmart, whatnot, etc., etc. Well, I loving in supporting my local independent record stores, thought I'm going to go buy the DVD sets at my local independent record store and support them.
Right.
And bought those, not realizing that those sets had, as the bonus DVDs, shows that I already had on like bootleg VHS or whatnot, and the shows I didn't have were available as the bonus DVDs at Best Buy and Walmart. And when I found that out, I was like, seriously, I was so pissed about it, but yet I was just like, how should this not surprise me? It's Kiss.
So if I remember the story correctly, there were 3 Kissology box sets and 4 different bonus discs for each one.
That might have been true. I don't remember the exact amount. I just remember there were different discs depending on what store you bought it at.
Let's say 3 for each one, just to be on the conservative side. That means that you have to buy 9 copies of Kissology from different retailers to get all the concerts. So I guess Gene Simmons does know the trick.
Yeah, I remember when they Best Buy would have one, Circuit City would have one.
Yep.
And to make things more complicated, Grant,
there you go.
We don't have some of these stores in Canada, like Target. We don't
have Circuit City anymore either. That's
there you go.
Yeah, Circuit City's long gone, but
yeah,
they were one of the ones. They put out a different version of the bonus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best Buy is still hanging on.
I believe.
Has anybody been to a Best Buy? It's pretty sad.
I haven't been to a Best Buy since early 2020.
I haven't been. Well, I did go to Best Buy to get a Nintendo Switch, but I gave up on them when they deleted their CD area.
Yeah.
I'm done. There's nothing here for me now.
Because
you remember back in the day how great Best Buy's CD section was. Holy
Heck yes, because, and Rob knows this, when I was managing the record store, a Best Buy moved in next door.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
It terrified everybody.
Yeah.
In the end, it didn't really do a lot of damage because, like, we were, like I said, specializing in used. So we had a lot of different stuff that you can get at Best Buy, but I was shopping over there. I knew that, though, I knew there was a problem around 2012 when Zeppelin released the Celebration Day, the live collection.
Yeah.
I was looking specifically for the 2 CD, 2 Blu-ray set.
Mhm.
And I couldn't find it. And miraculously, somebody asked me if I needed any help, which at Best Buy is like,
oh my God.
And you're fishing and you don't catch anything for hours. Anyway, yeah. Do you have the Led Zeppelin? I'm looking for the 4-disc with the Blu-ray. Well, let me check the back. Sure enough, it was in the back. Who the hell stocked something like that in the back? It was a new release. And it's like, it just goes to show how little care they had at that point, 2012. Mm-hmm. So when they discontinued music, I was sad, but certainly not surprised. I was actually just shopping today and I was talking to my wife, and it's like, what record stores are left in town? And there used to be a time where in one trip downtown, I could go to Sam the Record Man, Dr. Disc, and Encore Records, all within a short sprint of each other. Those are the glory days. You'd spend an evening downtown hitting the record stores. And now it's like there's one nearby and there's one downtown. And I don't want to drive downtown and park downtown anymore. Things have changed in that way too. But anyway, enough about that. Those days are unfortunately gone. And, I miss the Best Buy record section as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my turn, the Guns N' Roses rant. Harrison, do you have more you want to show off tonight?
I have a bit more, yes.
All right. I think we probably can do one more turn each, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Let's do one more turn each.
Sure. Now, we don't have Best Buy or Walmart or anything here. We have Target, but just because something's a Target exclusive in the US doesn't mean we're going to get it over here in Target.
Exactly.
Same thing with Best Buy exclusives.
Yeah, the Target. I remember the last Target exclusive I bought was the Tears for Fears album to get the bonus tracks.
Is that their current one?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know about that.
I think it was only Target who did that too.
I saw that album made our good friend Todd Evans made his list this year. I didn't realize there was a bonus track I need to worry about, so thanks for the tip. Anyway, sorry, Harrison, go ahead.
All right, so I do have a few more things to show for the Tim Derling in the future audience.
Oh, yes.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
The Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Now, Mike, I'm pretty sure Ultra Magnus's original shoulder pylons were spring-loaded, right?
They were.
Yeah.
They were not.
In
North America. They were in Japan, but by that time, as Rob well remembers, they had discontinued spring-fired anything in North America.
Because you can see they've sculpted the little fin that you
trigger
press down. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure Tim will like that one.
The reason
I just want to add that Harrison built that in 15 minutes.
The reason we're name dropping Tim here, though, is because in his book, right, which you can see right there, he has a picture of himself with his original 1986 Ultra Magnus toy that's based on.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I did also get just recently the extended versions of the Hobbit trilogy.
Ooh,
4K. That's cool.
I know you've been into those lately.
Yeah, me and my sister just watched the Hobbit trilogy recently, actually, well, the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well. But that was a rewatch for me. I did also grab. Now, the reason I haven't got this yet is because my father had a double pack of Road Warrior and Thunderdome.
Jeez, I thought they gave you those at birth.
Yeah, I thought that those here.
So I bought this one quite a few years ago, and as you can see, it's got this on the spine. So when I saw this in shops for like $5, I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting them." So now I've got 2/3 of
the Thunderdome. Nice.
Yeah, along with being a sucker for lenticular covers, I'm a sucker for spine alignment across a series.
Yes.
Cool. And so just because we're talking
in Australia, Harrison, do they offer like Australian movie filming location tours of the Road Warrior like filming locations like they do for movies here in America?
Possibly. I've never been to Broken Hill before, so that's over in New South Wales. I live there. They filmed Mad Max somewhere here-ish.
So it's almost on the other side.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Oh,
now,
where did Crocodile Dundee live is what I want to know.
I'd assume there, because that's the Northern Territory and that's the wildest part of Australia.
Okay.
So I'd assume
I am impressed that you can do that, Harrison.
That is really funny.
And
You're
he's
able to
so
point-
fluid. He just goes, "It's right."
Right
Yeah,
there.
right there.
Yeah. I also have Fury Road Steelbook, but that's away in storage somewhere. And just because I did build
There,
myself
look at that.
a custom. This one took me something like 5 or 6 years to build because it's gone through a few
Holy
different
mackerel.
iterations.
Yeah.
Because I actually, this latest version, or this is the Mark III version. Now, with the Mark II version, what I did is actually built an interior
Oh,
for
nice.
it. So that's the blue undercover police light that he has that you can see there.
And I think you've just revealed the answer to another Ask Harrison question previously, which was which side of the road do you drive on? And you can see that
Yes.
the driver there is on the right-hand side of the car. There's the wheel
Yep.
on the right.
And I must say,
You
I
can't
know,
see it too much, but there the wheel is.
and I must add, I know we were looking at Creatures of the Night labels, and I thought that was geeky, but we might even went geekier with this.
We definitely went geekier with this, but that's okay.
It's all good. I love it.
Yeah, that's funny because the Interceptor in Fury Road is one of the only vehicles there that's right-hand drive, because they would have imported all the old crap from America when they filmed it.
Right. Oh, that's
Pretty
interesting.
much everything there's left-hand drive except the Interceptor, because it's an XB Falcon from Australia.
Nice.
Well, there's the expert right there.
There you go.
Well, thanks, Harrison. Sounds like you had a pretty good Christmas.
Yes, I did indeed.
I assume we'll be seeing the Black Pearl in future artwork. I imagine you won't be able to resist using the Black Pearl in future artwork.
Yes, we'll see. It's probably more of a T-Bone Man thing than a Stack of Rock thing.
They're starting to blend together. We're using all
They
the
are,
artwork
yes,
for
they
everything.
are.
Well,
Yes.
thank you so much.
If a good piece of artwork can be used for both, by all means, go ahead. One, it's less work for me. Two, the more I see of the artwork, the better.
I'm just going to show Chris Preston. Well, since he just arrived, I'll just show him what I was hyping earlier. And there's lenticular artwork for you right there. That Harrison.
I know.
has.
Yeah. Ooh,
You have
I
to
love
admit,
that
that's
stuff.
pretty nice.
That is pretty nice.
nice.
But $360 to get all that live stuff.
Yeah. When I was a young kid, there was a book series in Australia that I read, like the whole series, and they had both lenticular covers and both spine alignment. So that was like in my formative childhood years, that like imprinted my love of those two things.
It explains so much about what you've
It does.
become.
This is how he's grown up. It all makes sense now.
It does make sense. All right, Grant, what do you have left to show us?
I'll show a couple of things. None of this stuff's like really incredible or anything, but I was down and I stayed the weekend with Todd Evans in Atlanta, and we did a live show from Atlanta. We went to record stores. We went to Wax and Facts, which is a store in Atlanta. If anybody's heard of the man, a legend called Danny Beard, he owns the store Wax and Facts in Atlanta. He's the man. He is the legend that he's first released the first B-52s Rock Lobster. He was the one that brought out Guadalcanal Diary from Atlanta. But I'm trying to get him for an interview, but it's been tough to get him. He gave me all of his information, but for some reason I can't seem to get. He's probably said, "Grant, you're idiot. Leave me alone." So some of the things I got: Visage, the Anvil on CD, Screaming Blue Messiahs, Bikini Red. This is from Wax and Facts. This was $1. In fact, Wax and Facts had a whole bunch of great stuff for $1. So I just went to town. This I bought out in Reno. Sleater Kinney, Dig Me Out.
I saw you were listening to that today.
I was. I bought the Ivies, Maybe Tomorrow, which is the band prior to Badfinger. This is on Apple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So basically it's Badfinger, so different.
Right.
When I was there was another record store we went to. I haven't even opened this yet. But as far as I know, this is out of print, but Cure the Top, the version, the deluxe edition, it wasn't that much money. It was only like $21.
What is that, their latest?
No, this is from
I don't know them that well.
Top, like 82 or something. But it's the deluxe edition. I picked that up. What else is cool? Oh, I picked up this cheap for like $2.
Now, which version is that? Is that the one with "Get the Fuck Out" or?
No, this is the Record Club version, so it's edited. It's got the different track.
In my experience, the edited version is maybe slightly more rare.
Really?
Because you had to get it from a record club, basically. I couldn't find it anywhere else. If I went to buy it in a store, I couldn't find it with that song. I had to buy it from Columbia House.
I got this in Reno. You guys might appreciate this.
Oh, yeah.
Fugazi.
Yes.
Yeah, this is like the original CD pressing. I think it's made in Holland. So it's not going to be all jacked up. So it ought to
That's
sound
right.
pretty good.
That's right.
And then Tim Derling, we did a Max Webster show. So I've been getting all the Kim Mitchell stuff.
Interesting. Now his solo stuff is definitely a different animal from Max. But yes, Akimbo logo, that album.
And then there's the
EP. Dude, do you know how rare that is?
Yeah, it's the EP. It's on Wounded Bird.
Dude, I'm serious when I tell you, Amazon was asking $100 for that.
Yeah,
that is freaking rare, dude. That is one of the rarest CDs
I'm here to dazzle, boys. I'm here to dazzle.
I have it on Wounded Bird as well, but I've been to record shows where people were swearing up and down that it did not exist. Oh no, any official CD release you've seen of it is a bootleg.
Yeah, that's all.
There's
bullshit.
The proof. There is the proof.
Those guys don't know what they're talking about.
$100 on Amazon in Canada. Ridiculous.
I'm not going to tell you how much I bought that for.
Well, you could flip it for some serious coin, but don't.
I'm going to keep it because it's so great.
I will. It is so great. I would tell you that is, in my opinion, the greatest EP of all time. To which I have granted my very, very rare 6 out of 5 star rating, which I only reserve for very few albums.
6.5.
6 out of 5.
6 out of 5.
6 out of 5.
I need to listen better. Okay.
I love that. The song Misdemeanor on there and Tennessee Water. Oh my God, his guitar playing on Tennessee Water is so effing good.
Mike,
are you other gentlemen familiar with this, right? Are you familiar with it?
I was never really a Kim Mitchell fan.
It's great.
If my pal Deke or if my pal T-Bone were on tonight, they'd be losing their minds over that.
You guys have heard the song "Go for a Soda," right? Off this record? Yeah. Okay.
I have that one on vinyl.
Okay. Well, then you'd like this then. I'm gonna.
That one, the EP is even harder edged. It's even harder edged. Mm-hmm. And there's some great tunes in there. Kids in Action. Oh my God. Thank you, Grant. Actually, that is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen on this show. It is so rare.
Mike, I'm here to, share.
You bring the money, man. You bring the money.
Well, obviously, because I'm out of money.
Your rare 6 of 5 rating begs the question: why didn't you just make 5 a little bit louder?
That's a good question. And in answer to that, on what day did God create Spinal Tap? And couldn't he have rested on that day too? Good one, Brian. All right, Rob, what do you have to show us for the last round here?
Unfortunately, no music stuff.
Okay.
However, well, since I think only Mike and I on here are Canadian, we would recognize what I'm going to be. I don't know. Anyway, if I was to hold this up. I'm not a shoe guy, by the way, but when I picked this up, it was something that I had to do. Now, Mike, you probably heard of the Avro Arrow.
That was my first guess when I saw the Canadian flag logo there. So this had something to do with the Avro Arrow.
So these are shoes that are based on the Avro Arrow, and there's like a company called I Love a Hanger. And again, like I said, not a shoe guy. But when I saw these, I said, I have to get them. And part of the proceeds from these go to they're going to be recreating a version of the plane.
Wow.
So that's going to be it for me. That this was a no-brainer. I had to pick up these shoes.
Now, for those who don't know what the Avro Arrow is, it was in the 1970s.
No, 1950s.
1950s. 1950s, that this incredible plane, entirely Canadian designed, a fighter interceptor, I believe it was.
Yep.
It was designed, and it was so far advanced, and it died. It was canceled.
Well, it was canceled due to a short-sighted prime minister at the time and a little thing called NASA that was starting up in the States.
Yeah.
That ended up taking a lot of the Avro scientists down to and put the Americans on the moon. But that's just my theory.
I just want to apologize for that.
And coming from you, Grant, thank you.
On behalf of
that apology.
On
Bless
behalf
your
of the entire
soul.
country.
But Rob, bless your soul, because you were going to show something, but the last thing I would have expected was a shoe. So I'm giving you bonus points.
All right.
That's
I have
cool.
one more thing.
Is it?
Another, it's the other shoe. It's the left shoe.
Please tell me it's not going to be like a humidor or something.
No.
What is it?
This one you need to get down for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on,
Rob,
it
I did
must
also
be-
want to ask you just quickly, did you get the reference of the main image for this show, the Lego one in the back? Star Trek guide.
I honestly say that I'd have to see the picture again.
Hang on.
Do we have? Whoa.
There, you saw the picture again.
I did. Okay, yes.
Man, you're fast. Holy shit. You've
And he put us all
mastered-
back in order again, which I think is cool.
Mr. Ladonna's mastered StreamYard. I'll give you that.
All right. So now this will probably be recognizable to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Never heard of it.
However, in this case, this is a present from my sister. And she cross-stitched.
I was going to
Yes, I
say, it
believe-
looks like stitching.
No
but it's-
way.
Whoa.
It's cross-stitched.
Look at the amount of detail.
So,
Awesome.
holy mackerel. How long did that take her to do that?
Well, I think she started it back in
1978?
2020.
I was going to say 1977 she started it.
No, this is so yeah, so this is this
Beautiful.
just I kind of knew it was coming, but it was a matter of she said you might not get it for this Christmas, but you might get it for a birthday, or you might get it
Wow.
for an Easter gift or something like that. So yeah, that's what this is.
Your sister must like you. That's all I'm going to say.
No kidding. My sister's never spent that much time on anything for me.
No.
Wow.
Well-
I was going to say, how can anybody top the
You can't
conventional
top
CD that
that.
Grant had? But now,
Well,
Now
this
we
is
have-
better.
plus the shoe,
So yeah, that's my and also well, just I'm wearing a new Visions and Sound sweatshirt.
Very nice.
Look at you. Stylish.
And so yeah.
Lots of compliments to your sister tonight.
Yes, I will pass those along.
The only thing I have that goes with your shoes is my new socks.
Nice.
There you go.
Is Peter Criss in there and Gene Simmons? Or
I
is
gotta
that the
assume
Paul
so.
Stanley? Okay.
Why do we want to open? Yeah, you know what?
Open
We're
it
gonna
up.
the-
Let's see who's in there.
I got to put on some clean socks tonight anyway, so let's see who's in here.
Your
We
wife will
have-
thank you.
I mean, don't tease us, for God's sake. Oh, look how cool is that?
So there's Gene.
Oh,
There's Paul and Ace, and I assume. Oh, there's Peter. There he is.
Nice.
okay. Now I'm wearing them currently, but I have Godfather socks.
Oh, well, we don't need to see that, but that's very cool, Rob.
Yes, actually, the stack of socks that I did the last time included the Godfather socks. So
That's very cool.
I'm assuming it's not Godfather's pizza socks.
no, these no. These are.
I want to
these-
make sure which ones we're talking about.
No, this is the Marlon Brando movie.
Okay. All right,
Nice. The
just making
original.
Sure.
Yes,
The Godfather Part 1,
part
as
one.
we call
yeah.
it, as we call it
That's good.
today.
Excellent.
Very cool. Thanks, Rob. I really love that. Your sister did an amazing job. An
Yeah,
amazing
that
job.
I would say out of everything, the Star Wars, that is, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a reproduction of the poster the exact poster. That I
Bang
sent.
on. Bang
wow.
on.
You know, after seeing that, I don't even have a sister, but now I wish I had one. Just she could make me that.
Well, Brian, you have to somehow top this or follow it
Okay.
anyway. You have to somehow follow it.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Before I get to the last things that I got for Christmas, Harrison made me think of this when he was talking about his love of lenticular covers and stuff. So when you guys were showing your stuff, I went and pulled this out of my collection real quick. It's the
Holy
Oh,
mackerel.
yeah.
What the
Reissue.
hell?
Mike. This is from the same 180 gram reissue series that your Destroyer is from. It's the Psycho Circus cover. If you remember, obviously the CD was a lenticular cover.
They
Yeah.
Well,
duplicated it.
when they did the vinyl reissues back in 2018, they issued Psycho Circus for the first time on vinyl, and they did the lenticular cover, which is a total reason to plunk down the money to get this particular copy of this record.
I may have to look for that.
If every vinyl had a lenticular cover, I might buy more of it.
You'd switch to vinyl.
Not switch, but I might buy more of it and stuff. But
it's too bad that record's not any good, but the cover's good.
Exactly, right?
Hey, it's decent. It's all right.
Well, my holy grail of lenticular covers is the Virtual 11 one CD
the one that
from
I have.
1998.
Oh,
you don't have to remind me.
Satanic Majesty's Request.
All right, lenticular too.
The original when it came out in '67, it was. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, I'm full of information.
That's why you're the master.
I'm not the master.
I'll grab it real quick. But here's the rest of the music goodies I got for Christmas. Speaking of Target, a little bit ago, my brother.
That's a good album.
Gave me the Ozzy Patient Number 9 album from Target. It was a Target exclusive, I guess. I'm not really into collecting the colored vinyl, but this is transparent red and black marbled vinyl. If you're into that. Now, Mike, this is the album where, if I recall, you infamously said that they could cut 2 tracks for a tighter and more concise listen, and I about fell out of my chair because this is Mr. I love the bonus tracks saying they could cut tracks for a tighter listen.
Well,
as a reviewer, I'm used to having my words thrown back in my face.
So, Brian, I'm just curious, since you are the owner of that fine piece of vinyl, what would you rate that record?
I like
out
it.
Out of 10. Give me a rating out of 10, just so we can share it with the class.
I'd probably say maybe a 6.
Okay.
It's solid. It does have a kind of the piece together feel to it, from all the all-star appearances like the previous album Ordinary Man did, which I liked. It seems like some reviewers are comparing that one unfavorably to this one, but I like both of them. This one is solid. It's very much Ozzy in his element. If you like the Ozzy character as it is, you'll probably like this because he sticks to the same musical themes. It's got some interesting appearances on it from Tony Iommi, and Eric Clapton lays down a great song. Yeah, and Jeff Beck. And of course, the usual characters like Zakk Wylde and Duff McKagan and Chad Smith are on this too. So it's a solid group of musicians for as pieced together as it is. But I think overall, it's a pretty solid album. I don't know that it's like a classic like Diary of the Madman or No More Tears or something like that, but I mean it's a very solid. I've listened to it a few times already, so
I think it's the best album he's done since Osmosis, I would say.
Probably. I kind of checked out on Ozzy after like Down to Earth until Ordinary Man.
I don't own Down to Earth. I never bought it.
Oh yeah, I followed him through Osmosis. That's actually the first tour that I saw him on, and he was still Ozzy at that point, the rock star Ozzy, because it was before the Osbournes, a couple of years before that, and he was still in his prime or near his prime performance-wise, and then I saw him one time after that in like 2007, and he was with Rob Zombie, and to be honest, Rob Zombie blew him off the stage.
Yep.
Anyway,
I could see that.
I agree.
My in-laws also got me Metallica, the Black Album remastered on vinyl. Now, as well known as this album is, and I do like Metallica, this is the first time I've ever owned this thing, to be honest.
Wow.
You've never owned a physical copy of it?
From like 92 to 97 when this album was really hitting hard at rock radio. And so obviously I was familiar with half the album, inside and out already. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever actually owned this. And this is a really good edition of it. I mean, it sounds great. When I was doing my thing yesterday, Mike, with like experimenting with like tweaking EQ levels and stuff with some of my different albums, this one didn't need much. This was one of my favorite production jobs ever. Bob Rock this is like the peak of Bob Rockness.
Agree. Yep.
For that one. Then
I wonder what that LB sounds like compared to the original CD back in the day. I'm just curious. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I still have my original CD. I could let you know.
All right, Mike, let me know.
I'll report back to you in due
Report
time.
back to me. I just
Couple
want to
more.
add, since you mentioned both Ozzy and Metallica.
Yeah.
Back in 1986, I saw Metallica with Cliff Burton open for Ozzy.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
On that tour.
Yep.
But at that time, I thought Ozzy was much better than Metallica. Metallica, at that, I don't know if it was the sound mix or what, but it just sounded like a bunch of noise. I couldn't. But Ozzy came on. Everything was great. But I did see Cliff when he was alive.
And you saw Ozzy with Jake?
I did.
Nice. That was a good tour.
Actually, you know what's funny, Mike? I saw him twice on that tour.
Wow.
I saw him at the Newport in Columbus, Queensryche open for Ozzy.
Wow.
We were standing right up front in like 86. And then later we saw the tour with Ozzy and Metallica same year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think when Ozzy came through here on that tour, Blue Oyster Cult was the opener at that point on the Ultimate Sin.
But I'll tell you, Queensryche in 1986, holy shit, boys.
They were at peak.
They
peak hair.
were a force.
I love Rage for Order. I am on record as putting that in my number 1 or 2 Queensryche albums.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved it, and I think it's underappreciated. I don't think there's another album quite like Rage for Order. But yeah, very cool, Brian.
I'll never forget it. Still remember it like it was yesterday. It was great.
All right, a couple more things real quick to wrap up my stuff.
Yep.
I sent my Christmas cash that I got from my mother-in-law and father-in-law on these the other day. This was just a quick pickup. I made a stop at my local, I don't want to call it a used record store the other day because it's kind of a consignment boutique type store, but my local used vinyl dealer has an area there that and he has a few bins of vinyl, so I stop in every once in a while to support him. So stopped in there the other day and picked up a couple cool pieces. This one is the Bad Company album Dangerous Age from 1988. This one caught my eye yesterday just because it's got the song No Smoke Without a Fire on it. And I remember that. I haven't heard it in years, but I remember that from when I was working in radio and even a few years before then, what a catchy track that was. And it's like, okay, I've got to grab that one. So again, Bad Company, Dangerous Age, Brian Howe, may he rest in peace, even though Bad Company refuses to acknowledge his presence in the band anymore.
That's sad.
And the last piece was this one I picked up yesterday at the same time as that one.
Oh, holy crap. I just picked the CD up of that recently.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, this one, Mike, we could do a whole show on hair metal albums that are at times, not from the guy I bought them from, but are at times ridiculously overpriced or super expensive albums. I could do a whole like top 10 list on certain hair metal albums so that if you're not looking in the right spots, will cost you a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This being one of them.
This would be a great.
album.
It would be a great topic because back in the day, I bought a stack, all mint. I'm going to say it's about like this many. All metal albums. They were all 50 cents a piece, and they're all mint, like Kicks and Motley Crue, Theater of Pain. That would be a great show because I could bring all that shit out and share. There was all 50 cents.
Yeah, I could do the same thing. Mike, get on it. We got to do a show based
That would
on
be a fun show.
Sounds good. You know what's funny though is a few weeks ago I was listening to that album and I made a comment on Facebook saying chances are you like this album better than I do.
I saw that.
And I got comments from all kinds of people, including Mike Fraser, who mixed or mastered that album. I can't remember which. His name's on that album.
What did he? I don't remember. What did he say?
Mike Fraser, yeah.
I can't remember what he said, but he didn't. I was like, oh God, sometimes you say things you don't even think that somebody who worked on the album can respond to it. It's like, oh my God.
Right.
But then Martin Popoff chimed in, and he kind of negatively chimed in, and I was like, oh, vindication.
Well, I'm not sure Martin's a big fan of it so much.
No, I
think know
he has
the
a lot
CD.
Of the same issues.
The CD sounds kind of tinny. I hope that the record sounds better. The CD,
I think it sounds a little muddy. This is another album that I was EQing yesterday, and I was adjusting like the tracks a little bit to get more treble and whatnot out of it. But it's not my favorite album of all time. I do like about 4 or 5 of the songs on it, but I mean those songs that I do like are pretty good ones. If you like 87 era Whitesnake,
there's a lot
this
of
is
that.
definitely a good album to have in your collection. But I was surprised when I walked into my friend's store yesterday and saw this sitting on the shelf. It's
I haven't seen that in years.
It's like I'm gonna have to take that one home for me just to have it in the collection.
Well, it seems like that album, either you're on the bandwagon where you think it's absolutely brilliant, or there's no real like in between, or people don't care for it. I mean, those hardcore fans, man, they love
John
it.
Sykes has a lot of hardcore fans, a lot of Whitesnake fans who got off the train when he left the band.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole discussion for another day.
That's another show.
I just wanted to real quickly, because I went shopping today and I bought some more stuff. So I wanted to really quickly run this 3-minute video, and then we'll come back and wrap up.
All right.
Does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so here's today's record shopping trip. Heading downtown Kitchener to go record shopping. Hey folks, so Jen and I took a trip down to Encore Records today, and I'd like to show you what I got. I've been slowly collecting Ian Gillan on and off. Ian Gillan Band isn't my favorite period, but I've never seen this before. I have no idea what it is. Maybe it's rough mixes from one of the studio albums with some live bonus tracks. I do not know. I also don't know this record label, Angel Air. I guess we'll find out. I also don't know what this is. Ian Gillan, Chair Kazoo, and Other Stories. This one is a 90s reissue, and I think this is stuff that was recorded in the 70s when he was in Deep Purple, but I am not 100% sure. Eek and John T. Snow and Tim Derling and other people are going to owe me money if I don't like this, because I basically bought it because of their recommendations. The latest Cheap Trick in another world. I can't believe I've gone most of my life without owning Gord's Gold by Gordon Lightfoot. It's kind of a necessary purchase, isn't it? Now, the thing about Gord's Gold is, these are all re-recordings. He did re-recordings for his greatest hits album. So it's all versions that are unique to this. That's pretty cool. Also decided to pick up the Cars greatest hits, even though I have all of these tracks elsewhere. Just felt like something I needed to have. Just needed to play it. It's kind of a landmark 80s greatest hits album. Zakk Wylde. Anniversary reissue of the very first Black Label Society album called Sonic Brew. 14 tracks originally, now 16, including, I don't know if those are demos or what the deal is. It's been a goal of mine to get all the Kiss albums from 74 to 87 on vinyl, and today I chose Lick It Up, 180 gram audiophile reissue, which to me, that's better than buying an original vinyl. To me. I'm not sure if it's worth $35, but hey, there it is. Lick It Up on vinyl. I've got a long way to go to get all the records from 74 to 87, but that's my era for Kiss vinyl. That was when they were on the record store shelves. So that's what I'd like to get for my personal Kiss collection, and I don't care if they're reissues or originals. And lastly, I'm pissed off that I had to buy this again, but I'm glad that I only paid a used price for it. Now, why did I have to buy this again? Well, I already own it on vinyl, but the vinyl has no liner notes or pictures or anything. They saved that for the later CD reissue. Also, the vinyl doesn't sound super great. There's a tick in one spot where it's otherwise pretty quiet, so I wouldn't mind hearing a nice clean version of the audio. Look how young they were. Again, I'm not happy that they did a reissue on CD when we thought it was going to be a vinyl exclusive, but at least Aerosmith didn't get any of my $9. So well done at Encore Records today. Thanks to Chris Boyne for helping us out. Cheers, and we'll see you in the new year.
That's what I've got is the CD version of that Aerosmith. It sounds fine.
Sounds great. I played it today, actually, but just before the show.
Yeah,
and I've got liner notes and pictures now, so I'm happy.
Hey, Mike, when you talk about that Aerosmith album having liner notes and pictures on the CD reissue, but not on the vinyl, I actually bought a vinyl reissue of that from Target last year, and I'm pretty sure that mine has some liner notes and the pictures. I'm gonna have to go check that.
Nice.
Wouldn't
now.
that be a surprise if the reissues had stuff that the original didn't?
Yeah, because the original vinyl issue was a record store day deal, right?
Yeah, I think
yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay, yeah, because I know that mine wasn't, because like I said, I got it through Target and it was just available last year, so I know it wasn't like a record store day version of it or whatnot. But I'm gonna have to check that now. You got me
That's
curious.
the thing about record store day. If it's a record like that Aerosmith, and I think it was in quite a bit of demand and people couldn't get it, you know the record companies are going to use that as a gauge and then reissue it, even though it kind of pisses off all the people that were in line for record store day. But that's what they do, though. There's a lot of stuff that's been record store day that's come out later, you know.
We could go on. We should do.
We could go on and on.
We should do a Grant's rant
Goes
one day.
on and
Just
on and on.
complain and complain and complain about all these damn reissues.
I've actually heard of Angel Air, by the way. They did this, which is the Sweet, the 2013 reissue of the Sweets live at the Marquee.
Well, you know, I was doing a little bit of research after I made that video on Ian Gillan's, and I was right. Cher Kazoo, he did record while he was in Deep Purple, and it was sort of like designed to be like a children's theme song from a children's show, and very Beatlesy. And the other album there, The Sessions, is the original rough mix of the Clear Air Turbulence album. And I guess Ian Gillan himself said, I don't like the mix. And they ended up remixing the entire album. So what that is the original mix. And that's the Angel Air. So I'm looking forward to getting into those. I haven't played
This
any.
has Paul Mario Day on vocals.
Oh, yes. The original.
Harrison,
vocalist.
what's that? When is that from?
1986. Andy Scott sort of reformed the Sweet and took him in a much heavier direction with Paul Mario Day singing.
And who's Paul Mario Day? Remind us again.
The very, very first Iron Maiden singer.
That's right. Before Paul Di'Anno, before Dennis Wilcock. Yeah. And is there anybody else, or is?
Yeah, I think it was Paul
and Steve Harris, because he sang lead vocals for one show.
Two, one or two.
Yeah.
When Paul was arrested or couldn't sing.
I love all that Sweet stuff, just for the record.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is a really good live album. Yeah. And my father got Gord's Gold for Christmas.
Nice. Excellent. Good. We can talk about
Mike,
that.
I was going to add one more thing about the Ozzy album, since we were talking about it a little bit. I forgot to mention it when I was going through it. The vinyl version of it, for some reason, flips the opening tracks.
Really?
The opening tracks on the CD are the title track, Patient Number 9, followed by Immortal. Well, the vinyl opens with Immortal and follows it with Patient Number 9. I haven't been able to figure out
why they did that.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay. What's that like in terms of a listening experience for you?
I don't know. They're pretty good. To me, like I said, I'm having listened to this vinyl version a few times. I'm used to that running order.
So it works. It works.
Got used to the other way, but yeah, no, it was just something interesting about that release that I was looking on the internet the other day and I couldn't really find an explanation for why they did that. Or
so, Brian, how's that the vinyl version sound? Do you like the sound of it?
That's my one issue with it. It's another case where the music itself is decent, but the mastering of the album, it sounds kind of noisy to me. Like, it sounds like they probably maybe put it out somewhat as an afterthought, like I said earlier, with some new vinyl releases. I mean, it's got a lot of surface noise to it, which is kind of annoying. Like when I was talking about that Kiss Revenge 180 gram that I was listening to this morning, that has almost no surface noise. It was obvious listening to that they took a lot of care with those releases, but this one does have, unfortunately, a lot of surface noise. And I don't mind some scratches or some hisses, pops, and whatnot with vinyl, as long as it's like gently in the background. They kind of remind you that it's a warm analog thing that you're listening to. But when you get more surface noise, then it just kind of
it can be distracting.
Yeah, those Kiss albums get a lot of good reviews on the Hoffman forums for sounding good. So same as the Rush reissues that are out.
They did or didn't?
They did.
Okay.
They sound great.
Well, last week,
nice and quiet vinyl.
Yeah, that was my experience with Destroyer.
Yeah.
Last week I bought I unboxed the new Savatage Poets and Madmen Glow in the Dark vinyl reissue. Surface Noise, big time Surface Noise. I was very disappointed with that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. I've got to get going and spend some time on my couch. But
of course you do.
I got to get going and spend some time with the wife and dinner.
Yeah, we all have our obligations. But real quick before we go, Grant, what do you have coming up next on the Warehouse?
Oh, for God's sakes! Well, next week we're looking at the Beach Boys' Wild Honey album. That'll be with Ryan and Davey, and then there's something else. Oh, John the Music Nut. He threw out this topic. We're going to look at a couple. Believe it or not, I never thought I'd be looking at Linda Ronstadt, but he threw it out, and I said, you know what? Let's look at Linda Ronstadt. So we're looking at Mad Love and in the U.S. Rockin' in the U.S. What is the one in the USA album? Whatever. I need to.
You're
study
asking
it.
me about Linda Ronstadt.
Hey,
I'm gonna have to watch your show.
The Grant's Rock Warehouse. You never know what we're going to tackle. But that's what's coming up next week. But all of January is booked with stuff. And I'm booking now. I've almost got February booked. It's amazing.
We're going to have a good time.
Shit is happening over in the warehouse. So anyone who's here and wants to please like, subscribe, check it out.
Check out the Warehouse.
Check out.
And also check out tonight at midnight, Visions and Sound at CKWR. Rob, what are you doing tonight?
Yes, tonight is well, actually, it's the 53rd show instead of the 52nd, because it just so happens that the 31st is the last Saturday of the year. So I end up having to do 53 shows. In any case, it is around the show is called Around New Year's Eve. So I've got some music from, let's see, 4 Rooms, Poseidon, Ghostbusters 2. Let me see what other. Oh, yeah. Assault on Precinct 13 and Trading Places.
All movies that have something to do with New Year's Eve.
Yeah, somewhere around New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Excellent.
Is that the original Assault on Precinct 13 or?
No, that's the original Assault on Precinct doesn't take place on New Year's Eve.
Oh.
It's only the remake that takes place on New Year's Eve. So
fascinating.
But yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the original Assault on Precinct 13. And I was kind of disappointed that I wouldn't be able to play the John Carpenter music that
yeah, because I was going to say, because that's a great film with a great Carpenter soundtrack.
Fantastic.
There you go.
And also something else, not Gord's Gold, but it's Gord's Gold Volume 2.
There it is.
Holy mackerel!
Happened to be a purchase that I made just before Christmas,
and that one's got
at a Value Village. Well,
nice. So we have a matching set.
I know. God, I'm getting all tingly.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, gentlemen, for showing up tonight. And
thanks for the
invite. Pleasure as always.
Oh no, always glad to have you, man.
I was pleasantly surprised by the invite the other day. So,
well, I knew you've been waiting to come on. Anyway, I always like to go out in a song, and just because I was downtown Kitchener today, I thought I would play a little classic. This is "Down on the Streets" by Paul McLeod, the late great Paul McLeod, filmed downtown Kitchener. So thank you. Have a happy New Year, gentlemen, and we will see you in 2023.
See you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Happy New Year, guys.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Down in the street they got something going on. Go tell my baby I'm going for a kid, son. Baby, she's been gone, and I can't do but wrong to my baby. Down in the street they got slow cruise boys around. Old painted ladies on bright cry for me as I tear out my own heart. This misery